We are here with our good friend Patrick McCollum. He's been on the show several times, and we're here because we're going to share with everybody a very exciting thing. Patrick is the featured focus of an entire movie, The Man Who Saves the World. Certainly legendary, I would say Patrick is. And I love the quote at the top from Jane Goodall, of all people. She says that Patrick is probably the most extraordinary person I've ever met. And I would agree that he is certainly an extraordinary person. And I'm really grateful, Patrick, that you're taking a few minutes to be with your Global Peace Tribe friends again.
Well, to start with, Scott, my whole life's journey for the last 50 something years is about world peace and planetary sustainability. And your Global Peace Tribe is a icon for people about that. I love what you do. I love the conversations that you have. I mean, we all have our different ways of affecting what's going on, and you're definitely a major player in it all. So I love it. I have great respect for it. And, I just love you as a person. So,
I love you too, Patrick. So, how did this come about? How did it come about that a major filmmaker made a movie about you?
so I'd go back to something that somebody just said about a week ago. So I have a person that I know who works real close with Harrison Ford. And we were just talking in a crowd, and he was saying, Patrick is the closest thing to the real Indiana Jones that there is. And I was thinking about him. It was a great, what do you say? I like hearing that way, but it's actually true, because I do a lot of exotic, unique things that other people don't do. Uh, I was just driving along here for a minute. So I've climbed the highest mountains in the world, dived in the deepest oceans, helped deactivate landmines. I was a chaplain in the prison, and I was chaplain to some of the most famous inmates, in history: Charlie Manson, Menendez brothers, the Black Widow. All these are people that I was counseling and taking care of, and about 2,000 other inmates over 25 years. And one of the things that my wife and I did that a lot of people don't know is that I ran into a lot of problems in the prison with discrimination against different people of color and people from different religions and things like that. So I took our government on all the way through the Ninth Circuit and on the way to the Supreme Court of the United States to get them to stop doing that. And it opened up prisons all across the whole United States to give more freedom to everyone. I literally led the first sweat lodges for Native Americans, and it was just really special. So I've done all those things. I've gone in all the deep jungles and everything. I've been bitten twice by, the most kind of poisonous snakes in the world. I've confronted the most powerful, dangerous, cat in the world. And I mean, I could go on and on. And I went up and met with and lived with the most remote tribe of people on the planet. And so I've just had different and unique experiences. And so, in answering your question, what happened is I had indigenous elders coming to me from the Amazon for a number of years before I actually went. And they came and told me that 300 elders had talked to the trees, done plant medicines, talked to the animals, and all kinds of stuff. And they told them that the spirit of what they call Roxa, the condor spirit, they say when the great mother of all things created the earth and the universe and everything, she created the spirit of the condor, not the bird, but its spirit, to protect the sacred lands and what they call the heart of the world. And she said in these writings and things that if the Amazon and those regions were ever in great danger, she would send that spirit down into a man or a woman And that person would bring together all the tribes and people, and they would save the Amazon. And in doing so, they literally would play a role in saving the entire planet. And that's because, we breathe the air from there. I never knew it until just recently. Something like almost 80% of fresh drinking water we drink anywhere in the world comes from the Amazon. And what happens is it goes up to the rainforest. It has a special thing where it turns it into mist, goes into the clouds, get caught in the jet stream, and it rains in California or in Greece or wherever it is. And so now we're poisoning those waters and also damming them up and destroying them. And we're cutting down all the trees so they're not making oxygen. So I finally, for, I don't know, maybe 8 years, I kept telling them, you got the wrong guy. I'm not somebody that's going to be able to go save the Amazon and bring indigenous people together and everything. And they kept saying, no, you're it. You have the condor spirit. We've located you. We know you are it, and you've got to come. And it just so happened that a very famous director, Gabe Polsky, who has made 9 major movies that have all won awards and things like that, lots of awards and stuff, just happened to be there. And so he says, I was getting ready to go and see the Kogi, who are one of the most remote tribes of people on the earth. And he just said, could I go along? I'm not making a movie. I just would love to film those people and sort of see what happens. And so we said, okay. And he went with us, myself and a small group of people, and literal miracles happened. I mean,
Wow.
you'll have to watch the movie, but I don't want to get, too far in it, but profound things happened that I initiated that I had no idea I would initiate. And it ended up with the Kogi adopting me into their tribe and telling me that I just restored their spirit, which was stolen by the conquistadors 550 years ago. And they made me a member of their pueblo. And so that's kind of all started off like that. And it just happens this director's like filming all that, right? And so he's gone, I don't believe in all this stuff. They're saying prophecies, and I don't believe it, but I'm going to just sort of go along with you and see what happens. And then the movies really, I've done many other things in my life that are very interesting, but in this particular case, for about 3 years, he just follows me everywhere. I mean, literally went to Home Depot with me and stuff, you know, and he just filmed my life and what I do every day and who I am. And, um, his end result, which, I don't want to get into the way the movie ends and all that, but kind of the end result for him was 2 things. One, he came to the realization that I am what I say I am, just an ordinary guy. I'm not Superman or anything like that. But I believe that each and every one of us have this sacred thing within us that we can step forward and offer that gift to the world, and it can do something to promote, peace or a sustainable planet. And I want, I'm 75 years old, and many of my friends have passed away, and
Yeah.
many who haven't, like, sit on their couch and go, my life's over, and they watch TV and drink beer or something. And I wanted to be an example that they don't have to be in that space. They're very viable, even if they're disabled. I literally, and you'll see in the film, went to the Amazon through a part of it in a wheelchair with a machete. I just refused to give in. And so Gabe filmed all that. And in the end, it moved him deeply in a spiritual way, and his whole life has changed. And
Wow.
so, it's kind of his journey, seeing what was happening, and my journey. I had no idea any of the things that happened would happen.
Yeah, sure.
And the
Wow.
last thing I want to say, which is the part that really is kind of astounding to me, is that they decided to show the movie to major big players in the movie industry, critics, the New York Times, the New Yorker, Time Magazine, all kinds of big people. and Rotten Tomatoes was one of them, and the Hollywood Reporter, which is a major news source for
Sure.
movies. And everyone who saw it said, this is a movie that everybody has to see. This is going to win awards. And like, who knew?
That's fantastic. Patrick, it's just so beautiful. It's beautiful to see someone we love so much and who has been doing this work for so long, honored in such a way. And again, we're talking about the movie all about Patrick. There he is with his famous violin, The Man Who Saves the World, a film by Gabe Polsky. It's opening all across the country in October. However, there's going to be a special showing of it for those of us in the San Francisco Bay Area at the San Rafael
Right.
Theater, the famous Smith Film Center, on Thursday night, September 25th. I've already bought my ticket, and I want to invite all of our Bay Area Global Peace Drivers to join Patrick and myself on Thursday night, the 25th. I'll put the details and the QR code into the chat box for our Zoom room audience. And Patrick, I am
And,
so
and
proud. I can't wait to see the movie.
Gabe, Gabe will be there too. We're going to be there for Q&A, because in the movie, many questions raise,
Yeah.
questions that I didn't know the answer to. It's like, is there such a thing as actual prophecies? Could ancient indigenous people see what was going to happen 1,000 years later? I mean, but then what happened is literally every single thing they said would happen did. So it's just a profound thing. And I think that nowadays, with the challenges we have in the world and in many different ways, that people have been talking about the wisdom of indigenous peoples. I mean, they've been around for thousands of years just observing what's going on. Many of them have gone a different route than people like you and I. They don't necessarily build cities and do things like that. They've created different kinds of life closer to the earth and more in the rhythms of what goes on our planet. But I have come to really appreciate the depth of their wisdom in recognizing some of the things that we need to do and what the possibilities are for the future.
Wow. Well, I look forward to seeing the movie. I know some of our Global Peace Drivers will join us. Get the tickets right away because I'm sure it's going to sell out on the 25th. And for those of you in the rest of the country, it opens wide in October. Um, and Patrick, thank you for taking some time out of your busy day to be with us. We love you very much. Congratulations.
As I said, you're literally the epitome of what it is that I try to, you know, put into the world. And you bring beauty, love, unity. These are all things that we all got to start trying to work on.
Absolutely. It's the way to
So
live our
thank
life.
you so much. It's
I love,
my honor.
love you.